8th edition, the edition we've all been waiting for. Core rules will be free, but you need to buy the big book for the rest of the rules. All codexes will be gone, and all you need is your index to play your armies. We will be releasing 10 codexes before Christmas though, and 2 FAQs. What's that? Still waiting for your Necron Codex? Oh well, here's a chapter approved. GW, what are you doing to me? Or do I just have too many armies? Time for another Wonders Off discussion. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another Wonders Off video for you, and this one I want to discuss 8th edition and do I have too many armies? Before that though, if you would like to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, then please give me a sub and hit the bell button so you don't miss an upload. Okay, so this video was inspired by the release of Chapter Approved. Now I'm going to talk about Chapter Approved a little bit more in a minute. But first of all, I want to start off with the actual release of 8th edition. Now right at the beginning of the 8th edition release, we were told that we would have the rules free. We were also told that we wouldn't have any codexes, they would all be gone. Now as the hype train went along, we were also told that we would get new codexes for our armies sometime in the future, but for now we were going to get some index books so we could all play our armies right from the release. Now this sounded really good. Now when the actual release came about, although we did get some free core rules, it turns out we did actually need to buy a big rule book as well to actually be able to play the game properly. However, this wasn't really a problem for me because I actually enjoy having the rule books. I've got all the other rule books and it wouldn't seem right just to have a print off of just some core rules for 8th edition. Now with the release of the indexes with 8th edition, I thought Games Workshop were onto a winner here. All of us being able to play 8th edition with the new rule set sounded really good, and okay, we would get codexes coming out in the future, but it wasn't until Games Workshop said that they would be releasing 10 codexes before the end of the year that it hit home exactly what GW's plan was going to be. Now I have to say I was really happy with the index and the way the indexes worked, but of course I could see the need for individual army rulebooks just to get the flavour back into the armies. However, like most of us, I still went out and bought the majority of the index books, but I soon discovered that I almost wasted my money doing this because some of the armies I didn't actually get to use before the codex came out. In particular, the Chaos Space Marine one. Now that isn't necessarily the fault of Games Workshop. I knew there would be new codexes coming. I also knew that I bought that book for an army that I hadn't even built yet. However, I bought it because I wanted to make sure that when I do build my models that they were WYSIWYG. However, by the time it came for me to actually building my Chaos Space Marine army, the codex has already come out, and in actual fact I didn't even flick through that Chaos index. Now up until that point I'd only been playing my Necrons. In actual fact I made it my mission to concentrate on Necrons for 8th edition. Now once my Chaos Codex was replaced, I thought it probably would be a good idea to start playing some of my other armies before their books are replaced. So I got my Eldar out, I got my Tyranids out. I only had one game with them, and now we've got the Eldar and Tyranid Codex. Not only that, but we now have Chapter Approved. Now we've already received 2 FAQs for 8th edition, and as you would expect, these were free. However, Chapter Approved isn't free. Now I'm quite familiar with Chapter Approved. It's something we used to have in the past. A place to put all of the FAQs, all of the rules and updates. A place where you could have extra missions. A place where you could actually make your own units up with the points values, etc. It used to be something that I used to look forward to owning. Now I can see that going to the Chapter Approved route is actually a really good move from Games Workshop. If it plays out how I hope it's going to play out, i.e. we have our 8th edition rulebook with a couple of FAQs which we've already had, and then we all have our own codexes, and then once a year we get a Chapter Approved update which updates all of the rules and extra missions and everything that's going to be in that book. If we only have to buy a Chapter Approved once a year, once we've got our codex and our main rulebook to last us the whole of 8th edition, I think that's a really sound move. However, I have to say I think it's far too early for a Chapter Approved to come out right now. Okay, we've got some extra missions in there, but I haven't even played all of the missions in the main rulebook yet. The rest of the rules are sort of updates on points, extra stratagems and relics and stuff. I mean, I still haven't got my Necron Codex, yet I've got these extra rules for Necrons in this chapter approved. Now, a lot of the stuff in chapter approved, like the change of points to some of our units, some of the rules changes, like who goes first, confirmation on when we can use our command points, etc. Those are all just updates on the main rulebook, which, let's face it, we've only really recently purchased. These rules could easily come out in a free to download format, the rules changes and also the point changes. We could still have a chapter approved with those extra missions in, those extra little fun rules and campaign rules and all the other stuff that's in there. Now, to be fair, I don't really want all of those extras. As I said, I've only skimmed the surface of 8th edition. All I'm interested in the main rules and also the points values. Now, I do know that Necrons don't really have many points changes in the chapter approved. I'd imagine we're going to get that when the Codex comes out. However, we do have the stratagems in there and of course the main rulebook changes. So I do feel I've been backed into a corner to buy chapter approved because I do want those extra rules. Now, of course, we do have the internet at our fingertips. So if I didn't want to actually buy the book and I really did want those rules, of course I'm going to be able to get them. Having said that, that isn't me. You know, I like to have the proper rules. Whether that be a free download that I print off, whether that be an actual rule book. But I do prefer to have the genuine rules if I can. Now, as I said, I do actually think that chapter approved is a good idea. However, I think it's just come out far too early. I think maybe if it came out 6 months or 12 months down the line after we've all got our codexes, don't think we would be having this conversation. However, it is here and I do feel like I need to buy it. Now, not only that, I've got some Tyranid Codex to buy and I've got an Eldar Codex to buy. And of course, I am still waiting for my Necron Codex.
Necrons!
And I also have to take into account my Dark Eldar army and my Space Wolves army. I'm going to need codexes for them. Now, what I don't want to do is buy all of these books and not be able to use them. I only play once a week, and after all, there's only so much time we can put into this hobby. So I'm a little bit concerned about spending money on books that I'm not actually going to be able to use. Now, this isn't necessarily Games Workshop's fault. Maybe I just have too many armies. Now, I'd love to know how you are coping with the situation. How many armies do you have? And are you able to play all of them in 8th edition? Have you struggled to keep up with 8th edition? Let me know in the comments box below. So I think I have personally decided to stick to 2 armies for 8th edition. My Necrons and then one other army, probably my Tyranids. Those are my 2 favourite armies. Now, I've talked about this and should I sell my armies in this video here. You may be interested in checking that out. But for now, I really do look forward to your comments on today's video. Beam me up!